Hey guys, welcome to your daily mobility flow. As you can see, I got my little teensy coffee cup today, but sometimes you get a lot of coffee and sometimes you don't. Let's go ahead and hit it as we do very often. Let's hit with a big lunge first. And we're just gonna rock inside, outside. Rolling the foot down, arch to the ground, and then working to the outside. Big rotation. Flipping back and forth, just trying to work that hip flexor open to get things going today. Rocking back and forth. I hope you guys had a great weekend, great Easter weekend, Good Friday, Easter Sunday. Just rocking back and forth still. Get a couple more and then we'll go ahead and switch. This has always been one of my favorites for groin right here. Just dropping that knee inside, hips traveling like they're going through the front heel. All right, let's get a little switch. Outside, hips in, foot laying down, outside, rolling the foot to the inside, driving the hips through that front heel. So hips down and outside, like towards the support hand here. And roll inside towards that front heel. Rock back and forth. Nice work. Good job. I mean, I can't see you, but I'm assuming you're doing a good job. If you're stretching and if you're looking and searching, finding different spots, you're doing a good job. That's the goal. Okay, flow that straight into sit one foot out. It's kind of a wide angle here between thigh and other thigh. I'm going to sit back, catching the stretch down the front, and then open up. Sit back, open up. As you do this, just let that foot kind of slowly sink away from you. Getting a bigger stretch in here right now. Open the hips up. You need to leave that support down. Kind of walk the hands forward. That's okay. If you can get up, it's even better. Rocking back and forth. Let that foot just kind of keep creeping out on you. And let's change sides. Get a little space this way. That base. Sit back, hips forward. Let that foot kind of slowly creep away from you. You need to do this like one arm on a couch beside you for support. No problem. Let's sink away. Oh, yeah. Back and forth. Good. Now let's add both. I'm going both knees bent, knees out. Drive those knees apart, elbows down. We're gonna rock back and forth. As you sit back, as I sit back towards the wall behind me, really catch that stretch. Come out, catch a stretch at the very end. The middle is kind of an off place in this. Forward, you get a good stretch. Sitting back, there's that stretch. Come back to the middle, kind of take it apart. Take the tension off and sit back. Really going after the groin today. Got hip mobility. There's the spot. Take that tension off. You can play with like, if I kind of crank my hips down and sit on one side versus the other side. Kind of work one side at a time. Sit back, almost there. All right, take your time. Oh, come out of that quick break. All right, we're gonna stay in that position though. This is down, and we're gonna try to sit back on the feet. This may be all you get today. You may even have to take the tension off and then come back to that if your ankles are that tight. But if we can walk back here, and get a little bigger stretch in the quads and the calves if we can, or if we can get down to the elbows, even better. It's called Reclining Hero. Pretty bad name, I suppose. Or we can sit all the way back to the ground, fully compress. Find your spot. If it's here, or here, or here, or it might just be here. For today, working the ankles. Those are big. You got ankle getting opened all the way, knee getting closed all the way, and hip getting opened all the way. So this can be pretty tough. Your quads cross both joints, the hip and the knee joint. So when I bend to my knee like that and open my hip, my quads get put into the longest position possible. So that makes this a really big hip flexor quad stretch. The quads help out with hip flexion. So think of it as like an S. If it curved around my knee and attaches here, comes all the way up and then attaches on my hip. If I lengthen both of those out, I'm catching that quad stretch really, really big. So take your time working in those, but they are super good for you. So go ahead and take a second and get out of that. Don't be in a hurry when we're taking these bigger, longer stretches. You can get real spicy real quick. All right, we're gonna use something for support here, so I'm just gonna grab right here on my little storage and then try to get that heel up to your butt and add the hand in. And we're gonna keep stretching that hip and quad. I'm gonna sink hips in, add the foot, and then come out. Lean in. As my hips go forward, I'll bring my heel toward my butt. And I add on that stretch. This is a great variation of the couch stretch, or the death stretch, or even honestly a really good variation of that reclining hero, because I can really have very little stretch or big hip stretch by leaving the knee a little bit more, or big quad stretch by adding that foot in. Or I can add the foot first and then take my hips forward and catch that stretch. Let's go ahead and switch sides. I like this one because you can play with it a lot. Come in here and work that hip and knee as much as I want. If I want a little bit more knee dominant, add that tension first and then drop the hips in. If I want a little bit more hip dominant, then I'll drop the hips in first and then slowly add the foot. Or when I'm prepping for a workout, a lot of times I'll just kind of work through some of these against the wall, support on a wall, before I get going. So, great way to open up hips and the knees to kind of get started. So, last things last, we gotta go get those hamstrings. Hamstrings also cross the hip joint, which is why when you bend at the hips, especially with the knee, think about toe touch, right? If I bend at the hips with my knees straight, my hamstrings stretch because they cross the hip joint. As I manipulate the hip joint, they stretch. So let's get that kind of super typical squat to stand, drive those hips back, head down, chest towards the floor. My knees aren't quite straight here, but I am physically kind of driving them backwards while keeping my chest down to add that stretching. Again, the hamstrings cross both joints, also the knee and the hip. So when I set my knees back and I lock my hips into place by staying down towards the ground, and I drive my knees back, I'm using that pressure to stretch my hamstrings. My quads are firing in order to straighten the knee, which is then in turn pulling on my hamstrings. All right, back down, take some of that pressure off, and drive it back up. If you need to stand up in between this and just kind of shake it out for a second and then come back into it, it's no problem. Again, like always, don't force anything. Don't overdo anything. Just kind of lean into those stretches. If you want to add a little hip at the bottom, you did a lot of that already. It's a habit for me though, a lot of times, kind of add that in. Sometimes it helps me kind of relax my quads too. By shifting my weight a little bit, my quads get kind of burny. I start getting out of breath while I do this. Sometimes it's helpful. Let's just take a little break, relax, and then come back into it. Don't have to force anything. All right, we're gonna finish this whole spiel with some good mornings. Just at body weight, so I'm gonna hips right under my feet, right under my hips, toes forward. I'm gonna unlock my knees. I'm not gonna bend them. I'm gonna unlock. I'm gonna lean over, stick my chest out, not just down. Driving it forward, my butt back. I'm catching a good stretch there in the hamstrings, and then back up. We're just gonna lean into that. Get like a little 1-2 at the bottom. 1, 2. But my posture is really strong. That's why I'm driving my chest forward. Here, posture is very strong. Hips are back, leaning into it. Knees are stacked right over top. My shins are vertical. They're not tilted forward or backwards, vertical and up. A couple more reps. Nice tight core, tight back, and up. Lean with it, rock with it, and let's be done. That is your mobility flow for the day, really attacking the hips today because you probably set too much on Easter Sunday yesterday. I forgive you. I'm proud of you for being here. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting. You know how to type. And thanks for sharing. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you